PSS have been issuing appeals, statements for the past few weeks for the international community to intervene, to protect hospitals, to protect the medical missions on the ground, especially in northern Gaza. We have reached a point where today all the hospitals in Gaza are out of service. Those who are remaining, who are functioning on the base minimum, no electricity, no fuel, even very scarce resources in terms of food and water for the teams, for the patients, and for those people who are remaining in the hospitals. Our colleagues at Al-Quds Hospital have been surrounded by Israeli military tanks and artillery, and they cannot even venture out of the hospital. They cannot be close to windows. Snipers are around the building, and a few people have been shot and a couple have been killed, including from those who have sought refuge at the hospital. Today, the situation at Al-Quds Hospital, the same with all the hospitals in Gaza City and in northern Gaza, is quite dire, is quite catastrophic. They cannot stay for longer, even in terms of the daily sustenance of food and water. We've been trying to evacuate those who are remaining at Al-Quds Hospital. We have around 50 patients. We have and their escorts, as well as our teams. Those attempts have failed so far. We have not been able to evacuate them. No aid has reached northern Gaza. And there are thousands of people who are still trapped in Gaza with no aid whatsoever. No water, no food, nothing has reached them. And worse, we are receiving numerous calls on our emergency call number, people telling us that there are dead people on the road, there are dead people under the rubble or even in houses, and the families cannot bury them. They cannot venture out to bury them. Of course, there are so many injured people who we cannot reach to. These areas are out of reach for anybody. Our ambulances cannot reach them. No medical attention can be brought to them, and they are left there. Those wounded, they are left in agony to suffer and die with no response to their calls of help. So this is another urgent call for medical teams and for ambulances to be given access to those people in order to alleviate their suffering, save their lives. Not only the northern of Gaza, but also the south of Gaza is suffering from the lack of fuel, the lack of aid and humanitarian assistance. Al-Amal Hospital is running out of fuel. There is not enough humanitarian assistance. There is not enough water or food to provide to those patients and to the teams, but also to the thousands of people who have sought shelter also in the Amal Hospital and Amal complex of the Palestine Red Crescent Society in Khan Yunis, where the priority, the extreme priority today is to get fuel in. We have learned today that UNRWA and we have stopped receiving humanitarian assistance because the trucks have no fuel to move this assistance. And the proposition that a few thousand liters to get in order for the trucks to move is partial, is discriminate, and it will not save the lives of those patients, those people who are in hospitals. Fuel must get into the hospitals, must get into the medical facilities, and must get in order to treat the people. If the world is only concerned for face saving by getting some fuel to get the trucks going, this is another failure of the international community. This is another failure of morality, of responsibility related to the humanitarian crisis that is in Gaza, and to those people who need life-saving interventions. And without the fuel getting into the hospitals, this will not happen.